All right, guys, made it home. I didn't make the 75. I did about 61. I made 4.5 miles of the trip to the bank, and then started the. Mary brought me some pickle juice. I've been cramping. I made about 61. I did 4.5 miles to the bank. I did. Came back and got on that 75-mile route, and then my goal was to stop every 10 minutes and mimic like I was doing one of the swag stops, one of the sports stops at the Hotter Than Hell. Someone had told me make sure and stop at every stop that that you need to refuel. So I was stopping every 10 miles until about 30 miles in or something. I think I did 3 stops like that, and the whole ride took me probably 8.5 hours. So I'm nowhere close to making Hell's Gate. So that was a little bit disappointing, but I was able to make 61 miles. My Garmin Edge quit on me at about 52 miles. Ran out of water at about 40 miles. Some very nice lady stopped out by Bethel Church and gave me two ice cold water bottles when I was out of water bottles, and I was cramping. So it was she was an angel, whoever that was. Thank you if you see this video. Thank you, lady. Thank you. But I ran out of water somewhere around 35, 40 miles. Right after Bethel, I think that was about 43 miles, and I did screw up the route. I did something to screw up the route, and so I lost my route, and I was needing to go to the bathroom. I was out of water, cramping, and I just went and found a road I knew and started heading home. I don't know if I'm in shape yet to do the 100, but I'm going to give it a shot. I was going to show you the stuff I took if anybody's interested. I took a couple of things of these organic pickle juice. Drank them as soon as took 2 of them. When I finally got in town, stopped at Exxon, I drank 2 Avions and ate 2 Cliff bars. I ate 2 peanut butter Cliff bars. Here's the 2 water bottles that the angel brought me. That's the other Avion. I brought everything home to take a picture for DP and to show you. All right, I carried a bag of these organic cashews. I ate them on the way. I carried, that's the other Cliff bar I ate. And then I carried the other water bottle from the angel. I carried this organic fruit and nut mix we got from HEB. And it was really good. I carried a bag of non-GMO vegan rice chips. That's the real only processed food I carried. Well, besides the Cliff Bar I bought at the Exxon. Carried a bag of organic apples. I ate all of them. I don't know how many. 2 pounds of apples. I don't know, there were 6 or 8 in there. And then I carried, let's see, I carried some, carrots, which I didn't finish, and I carried 3 leftover hamburger patties, which I ate 1. Carried them in a little squeeze, cooler type deal with a couple of frozen blue ice deals, and I carried a bottle of crazy water. I carried water in my camelback, and I carried 2 water bottles on the bike. And that wasn't enough water. I planned the 75 mile all along county and farm to market roads, avoiding all the towns, so I could, stay away from the traffic. And the downside of that was that there were no filling stations anywhere. Next time, if I do this unsupported, I'm going to be a little more careful on my planning, and I'm going to put a filling station every at least every 20 miles, 15, 20 miles or something, somewhere where I can get some more water, use the restroom when I need to. The other thing I took was a thing to clean my glasses. Kept getting sweat on them, so it was good to have a thing to clean the glasses. I wish I'd had a towel hanging on my bag on the camelback to wipe the sweat out of my eyes. That was a pain. It was kind of irritating, the sweat and the sunscreen. But I carried sunscreen, carried a couple of tubes, carried a little toolkit, and carried my headphones. I had the Garmin 820 with I screwed up the route making with the Strava route making. Evidently, I should have put segments in instead of, I guess I put endpoints. So once I hit the first endpoint, I didn't know how to clear it. So I was just following the route after that, and it was telling me, my route was done, but I didn't want to stop the ride, and so I need to figure out how to do the route creating in the Strava app to really create the route, so I can follow it the whole time. I wish I'd have changed the settings some, because the details on the roads weren't very good in the Strava. I think it's a setting that I can make more detail, but I think it uses more battery life. So one thing I'm going to try to do before the Hotter Than Hell 100 next week is figure out a way to get the something to charge or extend the life of the Edge, and I've got that little radar light on the back. It stayed charged the whole time, but the Edge went to power saving mode and was going to sleep and off and on, and then just finally died. So the Edge is not going to make, unless I just really get going a lot faster than I did today, which I don't see how. The cramps started hitting me really bad about the 45-mile mark. I'd have to get off and walk around and get the cramps out. Got some blisters on my toes. My left foot, where I crushed it always hurts from those cleats. That's the biggest pain riding. The next biggest pain is the seat, but I got aero bars on there now, and that really helps because I can get in. I've got about 4 different positions that I can get my hands and my seat in now. Down low and scoot back up on the seat, or sit up high and hold the cushions of the aero bars, or drop down into the, I don't know what they got to call it, something drop down in the hood. I don't know, drop, whatever they call it. But with those aero bars, I've got about 4 different positions for my hands, and I can move my seat around, and they help tremendously. And they also help with the hands going to sleep, moving them around, switching them around, so that's good. Trying to think what else I might do different. I know that the plan was in Wichita Falls, it was to hit every rest stop, but if I got any chance of making Hell's Gate, there's no way I can do that. My little brother says that Wichita Falls will be a couple of miles an hour faster than your normal speed because, he said it's a flat race and flat track, flat ride, and that you're riding with 13,000 people, and so you're going to be drafting a lot of bikes, and your adrenaline gets up, and you want to stay with those other people, and so he thinks, I'll pick up a couple of miles an hour just being in that environment and being able to draft and getting excited for the race. And he said people cheer you on from the side like it's a parade, and if you want to stop, it stops at every 10 miles. I asked him his strategy when he did the hundreds. He said that he did it about, I think he said he went for 20, skipped the first one, went to the 20 and went to the 40, and then hit the 61 mark, the Hell's Gate. And then after that, he kind of moseyed and hit every one of them. But, I don't even know with my time if that would get me there. I think right now my thoughts are that I should just try to go to the 30 and then play it by ear. Because I think with the Camelback and 2 water bottles and maybe a fourth, I can get to the 30. And with water, based on today, and then fill up at the 30 and then go from there. If my rear end and my feet allow me to stay in the saddle that long. But I think that's the plan on what I'm going to shoot for next weekend. But for training this week, I've got a sprint try in the morning. I've got to get up and do it. I'd forgotten I had a try this weekend. All my thoughts were on this bigger race in Wichita Falls, so I'm going to get up and knock out that sprint try and see how that goes after doing this 60-mile ride. And then after the sprint try, I'm going to take it easy the rest of the week. I'll probably swim and do DDP yoga. Probably do an easy swim and then do DDP yoga the rest of the week. Get as much sleep as I can, let my feet heal, and let my muscles heal. But that's the plan. I'm going to go into Wichita Falls Thursday. I'll be there for the full event, for the expo. I'll do some videos at the event. You can see what it's like. I'm pretty excited. It'll be my first trip there. I'm still hopeful to get a shot at doing the 100-miler, but today let me know that I may have to really do some training for it if I were to go that far. But I'm optimistic. We're going to try to do it. We're going to shoot for it. But my little brother says that even if you don't make the Hell's Gate, that if you cut through the Air Force Base from the Hell's Gate to go back to Wichita Falls, back to the end. And he said once they cut through the Air Force Base, that's their favorite ride, that they just went and did that every time. So it's really neat to go through the Air Force Base. So it's going to be a win-win situation, whether I get to the 100-miler or whether I hit Hell's Gate and take a ride through the Air Force Base. So we're going to play it by ear. We're going to give it hell, and we'll see what happens next weekend. But tonight I'm going to get some sleep and get up and knock out the old Denton try in the morning. So I'll keep you posted, and I'll see you next week.